David here at Unsightly Vinyl, and tonight I want to share with you some soundtracks. I pulled 10 of my favorite soundtracks from my collection, and here they are. I'm going to shuffle them up and pick 5 to talk about. So, let's get these shuffled. I'm not looking. Alright, so 1, 2, push pull, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So first up, we have Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just a classic score from John Williams. This is my favorite movie in the Indiana Jones saga, I guess. Just John Carpenter has done so many. John Carpenter. See, I got Halloween on the brain. John Williams has done just so many classic scores. You know, he did E.T., he did, I think he did Jaws, right? He did Jaws, he did Superman, he did the Harry Potter movies, and Indiana Jones. Instantly recognizable. You hear that. And then you immediately know it's Indiana Jones. John Williams. Next up we have I Am Sam. This is an album that is nothing but Beatle covers. Story behind that is the movie had been shot. They had hoped to include the original recordings by the Beatles, but they weren't able to acquire the rights to use those, so they invited some artists to record versions of those songs. So we have people like Sarah McLachlan on here, Rufus Wainwright, the Wallflowers, Ben Harper, Sheryl Crow, the Vines, the Black Crowes. Just an excellent cast of musicians to do Beatle covers. So, I Am Sam. Alright, next we have Guardians of the Galaxy. This is from the first movie. This has a lot of great songs from the 70s on it. It's got Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Suede, the Hookah Chooka. You got Go All the Way by the Raspberries. You got Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. Just kind of glancing through this, you've got Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. Escape, the Pina Colada Song by Rupert Holmes. Just a great cross-section of some 70s music. Stuff that I had heard before and probably would never buy on an album from these artists as individual artists, but on a compilation like this or a soundtrack, this is perfect. Pulp Fiction. This is probably my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. All of his movies have excellent soundtracks that accompany them. Miserlou by Dick Dale and his Deltones was something I had never heard before. It's one of my favorite tracks off this soundtrack. You got Son of a Preacher Man by Desi Springfield. You have Urge Overkill doing a cover of Neil Diamond's Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon. Just an excellent soundtrack to a phenomenal movie by Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. Alright, and last but not least, we have the soundtrack to Batman. This is by Danny Elfman. This is the movie that came out in 1989, I believe. It's either 89 or 88. Yeah, it was 89. Just Danny Elfman is just another one of those composers who's just great at what he does. I mean, he did the soundtrack to this. He did the soundtrack to Beetlejuice. Sleepy Hollow is another one I think he did. He did The Wolfman with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro. But this is one of my favorites. A lot of good memories associated with this movie. I remember going to the drive-in with my brothers and my dad and mom and sister, and we saw Batman there, which was a rare occurrence because my dad was never one that enjoyed going to see movies, and so it was fun. All of us seeing this movie. Again, I told the story, but Batman is just one of my favorite comic book heroes. You know, my dad used to tell me bedtime stories as a kid about Batman and Robin and the Penguin and the Riddler, and just some great memories of this. Danny Elfman is an excellent composer, and just have always loved the soundtrack. All right, so that's the 5 that I pulled. I'll go ahead and show you the ones that I had also pulled. I won't talk about them, but Exorcist, Rush, not Rush the band. I hate Rush. Halloween, 2018. Halloween, this is the 40th anniversary of the original 1978 soundtrack. And Romeo and Juliet. So, some great albums, great soundtracks, I should say. It's, again, like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. My sleep schedule is completely off, and so I just thought I would share with you those albums. Hope you enjoyed them, and until next time, take care. Thanks.